You think your pain and your heartbreak are unprecedented in the history of the world. But then you read. It was books that taught me that the things that tormented me most were the very things that connected me to all the people who were alive and who had ever been alive. That's the American author James Baldwin. He died in 1987, and yet he's able to be here with us in his words today. Literature. The simple human technology Baldwin recommends for social isolation and depression. Depression, which the World Health Organization tells us will outstrip cancer, heart disease, and war as the leading cause of death within 30 years. Literature. Sorry to tell you, a resource unavailable to many people in this country for various reasons, not all to do with illiteracy. Of course, it spreads from the failing 7-year-old who tells me with swear words, "I hate reading," to the GP with a brain injury trying to recover his life and his language. It ranges from the ex-publisher, now living with dementia, to the suicidal prisoner who as a child was never read a story by anyone in her 17 years in the care of a local authority. Shared reading opens literature to all these people and to many more. It's very simple. It's people sitting together while someone reads aloud whole works of literature, ranging from a small poem, maybe through short stories, to something magnificent and of the highest quality, shall we say, Anna Karenina, War and Peace. That's a 2-year read in a shared reading group. Yeah. But what an endeavor for a group of people to undertake. It's time, it's tea, it's attentive listening, both to the text and to each other, because there's a lot of talk in shared reading. We talk about how what we are reading speaks to us. And from these simple elements, we create the social superglue that binds individuals into community. Above all, perhaps, the magic ingredient is the company and voice of the great writers. Their words, like James Baldwin's, speaking to us, live and personal, and helping us think, changing our behavior, changing lives. I'd like now to introduce 3 of our readers, Sylvia, Louise, and Lincoln, who will share with you their reader stories.
Good morning, I'm Sylvia, and I would like to share with you my reader journey. A shared reading group caught my eye. At that time, I didn't have any self-confidence, and it took a lot of strength to make my first step. I went to a book at breakfast group, and I walked in feeling like a shrinking violet. What did I have to offer? People will think I'm not smart enough. How can they value what I had to say? I had been recovering from a breakdown. This devastating illness had separated me from my husband and children and left me in care for 3 whole months. I felt like I was walking on eggshells for a long time after being discharged. During shared reading, I found my voice again. Yes, happy to read aloud in our group. I began to connect again, feeling bit by bit parts of me returning. The main room where we read has great views of its park, which adds to a relaxed and wonderful atmosphere. I noticed that the literature we discussed evoked some powerful emotions that I shared, and slowly I became more confident. Today, I really appreciate how well I am, and so much stronger. Shared reading brings people together. It has improved my mental health, and the reader has been a vital part throughout my journey back to good health. Thank you.
Thank you, Sylvia. Thank you. You're a beauty. Louise.
As Jane said, my name is Louise. I used to read alone. I used to ring up the hospital maybe once or twice a week with a knife or matches in my hand because suffering from post-traumatic stress, my life is at times totally unbearable. At times before meeting the reader, I would spend maybe 2 weeks of every month in a hospital bed. The hospital ward was my home because the diabetes was completely out of control. Today, I read with another group, I read with other people. Today, if you asked me to ring up the hospital, I would not know the number. If today I come away on holiday, I've never leave the house before, and today the Reader organisation is my home, not a hospital ward or a hospital bed, because they've turned my life, which was totally unbearable, into something which is totally unbelievable.
And Lincoln.
Hello, health lovers. My illness got so bad, I withdrew socially and was literally scared to leave my abode. But with the help of a relative, I was able to brave the outside world. I was introduced to Blackfriars Settlement by a nurse at the Moseley Hospital. The settlement provided tuition in art and other social building activities. While doing some artwork, I was invited to join the reading group. I found it stimulating. I love to read, but I was having difficulty in concentrating on my own. I'd never finish a book. The reading group gave me the confidence to voice my opinions on the books we read. Being among intelligent people on a weekly basis is a good social plus for me. The discourse is always good, and it is a great way to communicate with others. I'm reading confidently on my own again. Thank you.
Thank you. So I have one other person to introduce you to, but like James Baldwin, he's dead, so he can't be here physically, but you probably all know of William Ernest Henley, who died in 1903, and whose poem Invictus was a behavioral template, a form of literary CBT, shall we say, and a source of power to Nelson Mandela during his incarceration at Robben Island. Invictus remains a poem that offers connection and resonance to the lives of many disparate and formerly disconnected, or in our cases, unconnected as we once were, people. We're going to read it together now. Out of the night that covers me, black as the pit from pole to pole, I thank whatever gods may be for my unconquerable soul.
In the fell clutch of circumstance, I have not winced nor cried aloud. Under the bludgeonings of chance, my head is bloody, but unbowed.
Beyond this place of wrath and tears looms but the horror of the shade, and yet the menace of the years finds, and shall find, me unafraid.
It matters not how straight the gate how charged with punishment the scroll, I am the master of my fate. I am the captain of my soul.